quick rundown of why we're doing what we're doing. This is called the force velocity curve. And you got x-axis, y-axis. Basically, this is the amount of force, as you can see on the y. This is the speed that we do it. We typically live right here. If you notice, every now and then we'll get down to 70%, but that means our velocity of movement is pretty low and the amount of force that we put is pretty high, which is fine. The goal, however, is to take this curve and move it that way as a whole. If we do that by moving it that way, we become better athletes, we become stronger, we have more force. You can imagine if I end up moving it that way, then I end up being able to go higher over here on the amount of force, and I end up being able to go faster over here on the velocity. So that is the first reason that we're doing this. We need to work more speed. So that's why we're doing box jumps. That's why we're doing speed bench, speed squats. That's why we're doing multiple broad jumps. That's why we're sprinting, because we do a lot of things slow. We need to do more things fast. That's the first thing. Dropped my phone, sorry. The second reason is that we're looking to increase power. We're looking to increase force. So by technicality and by definition, force equals mass times acceleration. What do we always manipulate? We always manipulate the mass. What is the other portion that we could manipulate? We could manipulate the acceleration. So instead of us always having the mass being, 100 kilograms, only moving at 1 meter per second, what if we did 50 kilograms and we were able to do it 2.5 meters per second? Think about the amount of force. We're creating more force by doing that. It's basic math. Same thing with power. It's force times actual velocity. Well, we already know what force is. It's mass acceleration. And velocity is the other variable we can manipulate. That's why a couple weeks ago I said, hey, we need to have better intent when we lift on the way up. We want to lift as fast as we can. We're used to manipulating the variable of mass, which is just add more weight, make it harder. But what we don't ever manipulate is how fast we do it. So that is the reason that we're going to put a little bit of emphasis on speed. Finally, work, or the technicality of what is measured, the technical definition of work is force times distance that we work in. Well, the distance is always going to be constant for us when we lift. It's always going to be whatever our height is. And we just said force can be manipulated by the amount of speed we do something in or the amount of mass that we do something in. If we manipulate both those variables, mass and speed, then we manipulate force even greater, which means we have even more work. That's why you see a popular movement right now of intensity, sprint, jump, stop doing things in the 60 to 80% range if you want to be a better athlete. CrossFit makes us do it in 60 to 80% because that's the WODs, and that is what we have to do to be great at our sport. It's also something that I still believe you need to be able to do. You have to be aerobically good, and you also need to be able to be sprinting. So when a community member says, why am I box jumping? Why are you telling me to move faster on the way up on squats? You can give them the simple definition of we're trying for more power or trying more force. And power and force, the variable we can manipulate to help that is speed. And if we want to do more work, we're trying to raise force, and raising force is a product of mass and acceleration.